OpenAI just dropped a new flagship AI model, the Image 1.5. It promises major improvements in realism, text accuracy, speed, and control. In this video, I'm going to put it through its paces and test it out myself. We'll also give it a direct comparison with Google Nano Banana Pro so you can see which one fits into your workflow. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode, and let's get started with what this model is actually capable of. All right, so this is the first image of the show, and this is what ChatGPT's new flagship image model, Image 1.5, gave us. So if you look at this image, I didn't really give it any reference image, and with just a prompt, it was able to generate this image. And if we go further down, you see in this image, this person is wearing a white shirt, white t-shirt, and then there is a truck standing over here. And we do not really have anything on the pavement behind him. Now, it was asked to change the t-shirt color to red and change this truck over here. This truck over here was changed to a fire truck. So it was very able to do it. Also, the speed limit sign over here says 25, and over here it was able to change it to 15. So precise editing is quite possible over here. It was asked to add a crowd of people watching on the left, and it was very well able to do that if you see. Also, we asked it to make an eagle sit over here, and that also happened just fine. And then it was asked to make or turn this entire image into a full wrap around t-shirt, and that also was possible. And then it was asked that the person who is on the skateboard should wear the above t-shirt. Even that was done with quite precision. Now we have got a three reference images, and then it was asked, image 1.5 was asked to combine these three images and look them both at a kid's birthday party. So we get a perfect image where I believe the characters are retained. Well, if you have a closer look, I think the persons are consistent. The photos of the people over here are consistent, and the entire image looks closely linked. The relationship between the elements do match actually. However, there is a little of repetitions over here. If you see closely at the plates, why would a dog have a birthday cake filled with candles over here? And also the background over here, we could have more colors into it. But yes, otherwise the images are in perfect cohesion. I would say that. Next, it was asked to add chaotic kids in the background, throwing things and screaming. So it was able to maintain the original edited image where it added these three characters, and just it was able to put kids screaming and throwing things in the background. Everything else about the backdrop is still maintained. The tables and everything else, the way the cups are placed, everything is maintained. Even the cakes is maintained. However, I still see a few repetitions. The cap on the dog and this person on the left is exactly the same. We could have a little variation over there. But yes, on the background, the childrens with their mouths wide open actually make it look real. Next, it has turned the man or the person on the left hand side to a little hand drawn retro anime style. And this dog has been changed to a plushy style while keeping everything else the same. So we are able to bring in mixed media elements into this image. That's nice. And yes, then it asked put them all in OpenAI sweaters that look like this. Yeah, so even this is nice. But I believe somewhat this image has been morphed because this person over here, his face has come down and it doesn't really suits the rest of his body, the way his head is. But otherwise, things look exactly the same. The cups color, this, all these, whatever you call it, are exactly the same. Now remove the two men, just keep the dog and put them in an OpenAI live stream that looks like the attached image. All right, so the dog has perfectly been retained with the cap in the plushy style, while the background and the environment has been changed to an OpenAI live stream kind of thing. So we can add mixed media directly into our images and ask for some complicated edits to those images and also maintain perfect cohesion to our images. That is a great job by Image 1.5. So now let's look at another thing that they have come up with, that is creative transformations. Now what they say is on their presentation deck, the model's creativity shines through transformations that change and add elements like text and layout to bring ideas to life while preserving important details. These transformations work for both simple and more intricate concepts and are easy to try using preset styles and ideas in the new ChatGPT images feature. No written prompts required. Now, what this means is they have come up with a new preset styling on their mobile app and on the web application on their website, but not on the computer app. All right, so let's go to this ChatGPT image, and over here I have this try a style on an image. So I'm going to bring in my own image. Okay, and now I'm going to make it a little holiday portrait. So let me click this, and we see that some kind of prompt was added to it. Now I didn't really type it, and now this image creation is happening. This is in real time. I'm not speeding it up, so we can actually figure out how much time it is taking. Well, I believe it is not as fast as the other models like the Nano Banana Pro. Otherwise, okay, so now it is like teasing me, and I should very soon see my holiday face. So it says festive cheer and holiday spirit. Let's wait a few more seconds and let's see what we get. Okay, so the image has now started being generated. It is pretty fast than the previous models or the previous versions of ChatGPT image that we have seen. All right, so this is actually good. Nice. It has been able to retain the face. Please don't go by the looks the way I look right now. All right, but anyhow, the image looks superb. And there were a couple of more styles actually. Let me go back and let me bring the same image again. And let's try this dramatic one now. Let's see. So I'll fast forward this part because we have already understood that it is taking around 30 seconds, around about 30 seconds. The image, this is nice. I'm going to download this. This is just awesome, really. I'm not sure if with the same prompt Nano Banana can deliver the same thing. We'll definitely try this out on Nano Banana Pro 2. Cool. Now let's go back to this presentation deck and let's look at a few other creative transformations that ChatGPT has posted. All right, so this is a photo from somewhere with two people and a laptop, and they have asked it to make an old school golden age Hollywood movie poster of a movie called Codex from this image of these two men. Feel free to change their costumes to fit the times. All right, so this looks pretty good actually, and it does looks like an old movie poster. The movie's name has been jotted down very well. The fonts are exactly matching. If you look at this word over here, this name over here, and this name over here, the fonts match. And it is directed by Sam Altman. Nice. I think this looks good. There are a few other things. 80s fitness instructor. So this transforms Sam Altman into the 80s fitness instructor. Now I'm going to try this actually. And I'm going to bring in my image again. And I'm going to say, turn me into an 90s Bollywood star. Let's see. Okay, so one more quick thing over here. We see the image generation is actually taking around 25 to 30 seconds. That might be because it is in high, like lots of people are using it. So it is in high demand. I believe the speed might be better in coming days. So we should not just judge it, with the speed it is taking. But even though it is still really fast. 90s Bollywood star vibe shot. So cool. That is super cool. I'm going to download this as well. In the 90s of Bollywood, the Bollywood stars usually dress like this, with the collars wide open. But yes, this is what they actually did it. This is what they actually used to do. Nice. It looks like more of a Sanjay Dutt style. Cool. Next up is the instruction following capabilities of the new ChatGPT Image 1.5. Now, what it says is the model follows instructions more reliably than our initial version. This enables more precise edits as well as more intricate original compositions where relationships between the elements are preserved as intended. Cool. So, this is quite a detailed prompt where they are generating an array of white objects. So, if you look at the prompt, it is saying it is asking the model to create a row by row grid where row 1 contains a bunch of different elements, row 2 contains another set of different elements. Similarly, row 6 contains a different set of elements. And it is very well able to do it, which was actually not possible with the previous model version of ChatGPT. So, this is definitely a giant leap forward. All right, so what is next? So the model takes another step ahead in text rendering, capable of handling denser and smaller text. Now, if we look at this image that they have given, so this image over here, it contains some insane amount of text. This is actually a lot of text for a image generation model. And I can't really see any very obvious spelling mistake. The fonts, the typography are all exact. So yes, I don't really see any spelling mistake and it is a wonderful task. Now on the infographic side, now just see how much this infographics is actually meaningful. So now we can say that another capability that this model has come up with is the insane amount of complex text that it can render with utmost precision, right? Now, this kind of capability is actually very thoughtful of ChatGPT and is of utmost important also if we are looking to make something meaningful. Maybe it is for a poster, maybe it is for a website, or any kind of infographics that we want to make. Now, there is one more very good example where they have brought in some of the model intelligence also. Besides painting the image, they have also bring in the model's intelligence. Now, if you look at this, it is the Fibonacci sequence, some kind of mathematical thing where the model has not just painted the image, painted the infographics, but also used its own intelligence to get this graphics done. Now, this kind of intelligence in an image model is a leap forward, is definitely a giant leap forward. All right, so next up is a few comparison between what the new model can deliver and how was the previous model of ChatGPT performing. So over here, this is a complex shot from London in its 1970s. And if we look at the new model, it is more sharp, I would say, more brighter. And look at the all the small faces over here and what kind of detailing that is possible now with this new model. Whereas with the older model, if you look over here, the face over here looks a little distorted, and most of the people are actually facing their back onto the camera so that it could get off of not painting those many details all the time. So this is the kind of capability that the new model has. Now there's one more quick example over here. So if we look over here, look at all the small faces that we could see over here, and all the different diversity and the variety and the hats that we could see here. But with the previous model, if you see, it's kind of repetitive. I could see so many people in blue. Like if we go further back on this in this crowd of people, I would see that a lot of people look actually similar. It looks a little hand drawn, whereas with the new model, it looks quite real. There is another example. If you look at this image over here, it says you have taken a photograph of a photo that was kept somewhere. Now, there would have been a flash in the camera, and we could see that glare on this piece of photo over here. But if you look at the previous model, it looked so synthetic. It has tried to capture the flash, but not very successful. However, here in the new model's generation, the flash actually looks like a flash. So this new model has actually made several things that were not possible in the previous model possible with this. OpenAI does admit that there is still some room for improvement, and they have given us a little examples of they have demonstrated themselves where is the scope for improvement. So if we look at this world capitals improvement, now what this image shows us is that create an image of a worksheet I can use to quiz my sixth graders on world capitals. Now, if we look at this image more closely, it is quite a complex piece of graphics that it has tried to design, and it has done pretty well. But as far as the model's intelligence is concerned, I'm not really sure if any sixth grader will actually know the capital for Ethiopia. But compared to previous model, it has done a fantastic job. Also, when you give it multiple faces, now this is an image which has multiple people, and it has asked them to can you make them wear shirts that say OpenAI and everyone smiling. So if you look over here, I can see a few faces that are distorted. So with multiple faces, it does has some limitations over there. Also, when you ask it to generate image, particularly having Chinese or Arabic or Hebrew text, it might be not as precise as with other languages. So with multilingual images or graphics, there could be some limitations that what OpenAI is saying. So if we look at this image, it is a complex piece of graphic with multiple kind of text into it. I can see Chinese, and I'm not really sure what this kind of thing is, what this kind of language is. But OpenAI claims that there might be some limitations with Chinese, Arabic, and Hebrew over here. Now we have established that Image 1.5 is a highly capable model. But the true question is, how does it stand up against Nano Banana Pro? And if we take a look at the leaderboard, which compares results from text to image generations for the same prompt but across different models, we would find that OpenAI is leading the way. I'm a little bit surprised that it is outperforming Nano Banana Pro. Now, I want to challenge this with my own prompt. A prompt that can depict high degree of freedom with human anatomy. You see, these AI image generation models, they pixel match patterns across photos, across various media sources, and with precision as of an human anatomy and a high degree of freedom with precision in human anatomy parts like hand kills them in describing or generating those images. So we'll take a look at this next. All right, so here is the prompt that is aimed to fail this image generation model. So what the prompt says is ultra realistic macro photograph of a human hand threading a thin white sewing thread through the eye of a metal needle. Extreme close up, shallow depth of field, the thumb and index finger are pinching the thread precisely. The thread is partially inserted. The thread is partially inserted halfway through the needle's eye. Fingernails are natural and clean, skin texture visible, and pores and fine wrinkles. Correct human anatomy with exactly 5 fingers, realistic joint angles, accurate fingernail placement, studio lighting, and blah, blah, blah. So I've given as close as possible of a human hand. I've given it a prompt that way. Now let's see what are the results. So with the new image 1.5, this is what I get. I don't really see the entire 5 fingers over here. Also, if you look at this thread over here, it is actually not going through the eye of the needle. So it is out of the needle right now. Okay. I could see the wrinkles, but I cannot see the joints. So it has failed over there also. Now, let's look at another results with Nano Banana Pro. And over here, now in the first image, I generated 2 images with the same prompt over here. As you can see, this is the same prompt. And over here, if you see, I can see kind of 4 fingers, and also they do not align correctly. Maybe it is a mixture of two of both the hands are together, but also I'm not really sure about that. Also over here also I do not see any joints. Maybe this over here could be a possible joint, but not really. Next image hardly shows any joints, not even the entire 3 or 4 fingers. It is just showing 2 fingers. And one thing that Nano Banana actually did was it was able to pass the thread through the eye of the needle, and ChatGPT even failed at that. So all these prompts that I'm trying are actually mentioned in this free PDF, that is whose link is mentioned in the description. Please feel free to go ahead and download them and try them yourself. By the way, please subscribe to my channel. It will be a pleasure to have you along the journey. So now I've also put together a comparison between the image that we just saw from image 1.5. And if you look at the two images, this on my left hand side is the one from image 1.5, and the image on the right hand side is from Nano Banana Pro. If you see, both are doing exceptionally well. Both are able to achieve the objective that was given to them. They were able to paint extremely dense text. Now, what actually sets them apart is a subjective taste. Now, you might like the one that is done by OpenAI, and someone else might like, a thing done by Nano Banana Pro. So it's objective wise, they are both exceptionally qualified to deliver the result. But because of the taste of different people, opinions might differ. If you have looked at one of my previous videos where we gave Nano Banana Pro a reference image and asked it to generate a set of images from different angles and shots, and we got this kind of grid over here. I did the same activity with image 1.5, and this is what the results came up to be. Now let me download this, and if we look at this grid, I would say the face is intact. It has not really changed the face. It is able to list the kind of shot it is: extreme long shot, medium shot. And yes, it is actually able to do a fantastic job out of it. But the aspect ratio looks a little different over here. It doesn't really looks to be 16 by 9. But otherwise, the kind of shot it has delivered, the close up shots, if you look at particularly, those are just marvelous. I mean, it is a head on comparison with Nano Banana Pro. And I am literally amazed over here. Now I have another comparison from X by this creator called Heisenberg. And he has given a prompt of Sam Altman sitting on a London street. And if you look at the image, now this one is from ChatGPT, image 1.5. So if you look at this image, the image in all looks good. The objective has been achieved, but with a few discrepancies. Now, if you look at this part of the image over here, some of the small characters are inside the image itself. So some part of the image has been morphed over here. Also, this looks to be a particular London street with the big pin in the background. And if you look at the cars are going all the way up and all the way down on the same side of the road. Now, that's not particularly how it happens in London. I've been to London once. Check out my Instagram account to see my London activity. Okay, and the next part is the image that we got from Google's Nano Banana Pro. Now, this looks more delightful to me, right? So it is more of a subjective taste over here again. But the image is precise. I can see the cars coming and going on different sides of the street. So this looks to be a particular autumn kind of season where there is rain happening in London and the streets are wet. So it has actually able to capture that moment, the cloudy sky. So it looks a little dramatic also. And I think to as per my taste, Google Nano Banana Pro has done quite a wonderful job over here. We have another image again from the same creator, and let's look at that. Now over here, this is the image from ChatGPT Image 1.5 model. We can see the Big Ben again the rainy streets of London. And yes, this car is trying to get into the into Sam Altman. Otherwise, it looks clear. I can see different varieties of people coming and going on the street. That looks fine to me. And on the other side, we have again a particular London street perfectly aligned with perfect street chaos that we usually see people walking up and down in London. So, yes, both I would say have done an incredible job, but yes, it is up to the subjective taste of the viewer. So, as per my opinion, if you care about keen typography, infographics, and usable design, then GPT 1.5 model is marginally better than Google Nano Banana Pro. However, if you care about cinematography, about stylization, about mood of the image, then I would say Google's Nano Banana Pro has the edge. All right. So with that said, thanks a lot for watching this video. Thanks a lot for being here, and I wish you a delightful day ahead.